On this week's DOG, you're going to be looking at a world map, and this one is called Picturing the World. There are a few vocabulary words on this first page that you're going to need to note. The first two that I want to mention are absolute location and relative location. So when we're thinking about absolute location, we're thinking about maps that use latitude and longitude or grid coordinates to describe places. For example, if I had a world map with the latitude and longitude lines, I could describe a place as being maybe 45 degrees north and 75 degrees west. And I would find where those two lines meet up, and that would be an absolute location. A relative location is describing a place using the relation of one place to another. So if I wanted to describe where Maine was, I might describe it being to the north of New Hampshire. Or if I wanted to describe where someplace like Canada was, I'd say it's the country north of the United States. I would have to know where the United States is in order to know where Canada is in that description. A few other words that you'll need here are listed. You'll see there's some questions about seas. Seas are a body of salt water that's part of an ocean but partially enclosed by land. And Eurasia is a landmass, and it's a word that we use to describe the land that includes Asia and Europe. So if I go down to the map of the world, you'll see there are your continents and your oceans are all labeled. Some of the seas are also labeled. In this DOG, you're going to need to know where the continents are, and you'll need to know where your oceans are. This is also going to be an expectation for later on in 6th grade. You'll probably see a quiz about your continents and your oceans, so this is good practice for you. There are going to be a few questions where you'll need to know where some of the countries are on this map. They try to include countries that are things that you might already know or things that are easy to identify on this map. And I'm going to go ahead and label some of those here for you. And then you can put them on your own map as well if you need to. So we'll start here in North America. This part of North America is the United States. I'll put USA right there. To the north of the United States, we mentioned is Canada. That's a relative location. You'll see there are oceans, 3 oceans that border North America. There are also some seas that border North America that are labeled on this map. If I come over the Atlantic Ocean, you see Africa, you see Europe. In Europe, in this section of the Mediterranean Sea, there's a peninsula. It's surrounded by the sea on 3 sides. I'm going to go ahead and maybe circle that, put a line to it. That area is Italy. So I'll go ahead and label Italy. There's a question about Italy on your map. Questions? So it's this one in here, the Mediterranean Sea. Moving further east, you have Asia. This peninsula that sticks out into the Indian Ocean is India. And Australia is here. We've got a few more seas and islands over here. One of the islands off the coast of Asia is Japan. It is next to the Sea of Japan. So this country here is what you would be looking at. And then the island by the Tasman Sea. This is New Zealand. Not too far from Australia. Australia is a country and a continent. Down here you have Antarctica. Antarctica is near the Southern Ocean. And on this map, since it is a rectangular map of the world, you'll notice that Antarctica looks really big. It is not actually this big compared to the other places. And later on, we'll talk about how some map shapes distort some of the places, so it makes Antarctica look really big. It also makes the places up here by the North Pole and the Arctic Ocean look pretty big, like this part of Canada, Greenland, this part of Russia. It stretches them out. And I think that's most of what you need to know for this DOG.